What's up? How you doing? Here we are, Thursday evening, ready to make some dinner. Want to cut some onions up, peppers, bell peppers, but I have jalapenos inside. I'm going to put those on the grill. And I have Italian sausages. I have the sweet kind that my wife and kids will eat, although my kids eat hot stuff. And then I have a couple of hot sausages that I'm going to try. So anyway, I'm going to chop these up. I have bread, nice bread. So I finally went and saw the movie Creed. Good movie, but I will say that it wasn't as good as I was expecting, but it was good enough. I like the story. I don't know what Stallone's complaining about. He said it was going to be too dark. I like it dark. I like texture. I like darkness to movies. So, but the thing I didn't really like, I don't like the fight sequence. I don't know. I was a little bit. In fantasy land, slow motion dancing around, that section, I didn't really like it. I like the fights to look kind of like Rocky 2, that style, Rocky 1. I was not a fan of Rocky Balboa fight. Thought the movie was alright, but I didn't like the fight. I didn't like the opponent. I didn't like. I liked Antonio Tarver as a fighter in real life. A very smart guy. But I felt that Rocky should have had a more interesting opponent. And I didn't like the way that fight looked. It was too HBO-ish. So. But Rocky 1 and Rocky 2, that's my style. Rocky 3 was a bit video game looking, video game-ish, video game-esque. It was like dun 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 dun, and then the other guy dun dun dun, and then it was like back and forth. They were moving like robots. I know they were kind of trying to emulate. At least Stallone was trying to emulate Sugar Ray Leonard. But for me, Rocky 1 and 2, great fights. And I felt that this movie, Creed 3, in the fight, it was missing a bit of that emotional build-up. It was missing it. So, but overall, it was a good movie. And I will say, I'm not a big fan of what's her name there? Rashad there. Felicia Rashad. Not a fan of hers. She comes across as cold, lacks compassion. I don't know, there's something about her. The original wife of Apollo Creed was warmer, had a warmer personality, warmer eyes. And Felicia Rashad, she comes across as a bit cold. And the other thing, I did not like. So, I don't know, it's been a while since the movie's out, so a lot of people know that Felicia Rashad's character dies in the movie. But where are the biological children at the funeral? They didn't show up. I would have had a scene with them in there. Those are her children with Apollo. Adonis is not from the marriage. All right, so she raised him. Yes, it's the same thing. The giving birth part is not the hard part. The hard part is the raising. So, saying that, I still felt like the two kids from the 70s that were around. If you see Rocky 2, it's clear that they have two children together, a boy and a girl. But they don't, there's a bit of a mention about them, but that's it, and they're missing from the funeral. I don't know what the problem was with that. My knife. Anyway, it was a good movie. I enjoyed it, but it wasn't as good as I thought it should have been. Not as good, but good enough. I wouldn't mind seeing a Rocky 7. You know. Yeah, I don't care, you know. I don't expect him to fight at the age of 90. But you can make any movie good if you have a good story. You know, I always hear people say Rocky Balboa finished in the perfect way. I mean, I don't know, you know, so what? Doesn't mean life ends right there. There's more after that. You have Rocky opening up a haberdashery. You know, and the adventures of the haberdashery and Rocky. Or anything. You know. I don't cut him in half like that and then cut him, but... So we got some rain today. Tired of the rain. I was out in the desert not too long ago, and I noticed rivers that weren't there before. Little streams, maybe like 12 feet across, but they're brand new. So I'm going to chop these up, put them in here, chop up the onions, put them in here, and then I'm going to get my pan and I'm going to fry them up a little bit. And then I went with my kids to see a movie, which was a popular book when I was a kid. Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. So we saw that. I enjoyed it. It takes place in the 70s. I can relate. And, you know, cute little story. Get the religious grandparents trying to stick their nose in the kid's life by trying to influence it in a direction that the parents don't want. A long time ago I wrote Judy Bloom an email. She never responded. But that book was very popular. You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. I think it was mandatory reading for some people. And these are very fresh. Smell nice. One thing I think about when I have this kind of a meal is when I would go to the Italian part of town, and they would have these street vendors cooking these up, and you could smell it, especially in the wintertime. You could smell this in the onions, and then the sausages would be cooking on the side. And then I'd walk by and I'd say, can I have one? And they'd say, what do you want on it? And I'd say everything. And I think it was like $2 back then. One thing I'm disappointed in is that I've been reading reviews on the new George Foreman movie, and a lot of critics are crapping on it. I'm a huge George Foreman fan, one of my favorite fighters. Matter of fact, when he was doing his comeback back in the this dream takes place you know, in the early 90s. So in my dream I'm being chased by some angry person, And I end up in some really crappy part of town. I mean, I'm running over these little bridges and everything, and the person's still on my tail. And I end up in this really shabby part of town. And I'm running past these buildings that look like they've been shut down for decades. They're chained up and everything, graffiti in the front, and all of a sudden the door opens up, and it's George Foreman. And he tells me, come this way, and he saves me from whoever was chasing me, and he shuts the door, and I go inside, and that's where the dream ended. But I'm a very, very big George Foreman fan. I think all that tough guy stuff he was doing back in the 70s, where he was, you know, playing the mean man, the bad mean man, that was all an act. He's not naturally that way. He's a very nice guy, very warm personality, and I think he was just trying to emulate Sonny Liston by being mean and angry all the time, but he's really not that way at all. He's a very good-natured person. So I will see the movie though. I wanna see, you know, the story of George Foreman. I mean, I know the story, but I want to see it. I remember I saw him when I was a kid, not in real life, but I saw him on the Sanford and Son show. I love that show. Lawanda Page. Let me mention her for a minute. So, you know, the way she looked on the show, she looked like a mean old lady. But in real life, she was really nice. Another one with a really good personality. I'm a big fan of hers. Well, she's not around anymore, but I'm still a fan. And very attractive woman in her prime. I know they made her look a little bit, you know, a little bit beat up on the show, but very attractive woman. If you look at pictures of her when she was like 25 years old and she's wearing her outfit of, I guess she was a dancer, extremely attractive. And one of the best characters on television, Aunt Esther. But I love that show. I loved the house. Just everything about that house. And I don't mean the house when they brought it back with that big fat guy, Cal. I mean the original series. I love that house. I love the friends he had, Bubba, Grady, like the neighbor, Julio. Just everything about it. It's my style. My style of show. Everything about it. I still watch that show now. And I love the theme song, written by Quincy Jones. I know some people say Quincy, but I really think it's Quincy Jones. It's such a cool tune. So yeah, just love the neighborhood. I've actually discovered the location of the exterior of that building, which doesn't look the same anymore now. Last time I was there was a plumbing store, plumbing business. So anyway, I don't know if I'm gonna do all three or just two. There we go, one more layer. To me, onions, they make the meal. Some people, they don't like the smell. I don't know. I mean, I could see what they mean, but the onions make the meal. No matter what you're making. Beef stew, just, you know, any kind of meat, chicken, everything. Onions make it better. It's like the Beatles would have been better if they had a tuba player. The tuba added to a band, I don't care what band you are, will make you 10 times better. But the Beatles didn't know that back then. What they should have done is they should have contacted me. Because no matter how good the Beatles were, they would have been even better if they had a tuba player. A lot of people, they don't know that tuba makes a song a better song, makes a good song a better song. Anyway, I'm going to get rid of this stuff and I'll be right back. So, in a minute. Ta-da. Anyway, so last night I was on the internet looking for maybe vacation places in the future. And I found one in Pakistan. Fairy Meadows National Park. Beautiful place. Now it's probably a lot easier to get there than it is to convince my wife to go there. But I would love to go to this place and drive on that road. Maybe spend a week there. So we'll see. We'll see. That's what they say, bucket list material. But Pakistan is a beautiful country. Wish we had faster planes. You know, like, you know, they do around 600 now, 550, 600 miles per hour, which is fast. I mean, you'd probably need a Greyhound with sneakers to keep up with that, but to me, a good plane speed would be like 1100, 1200, around there. But they don't have anything like that, so to go to Pakistan from here, I don't know what that, like 20 hours. And I don't mind flying, but 20 hours is a long time to be on a plane. You know, I'm good with 5, 6, 7 hours. I can do that. Then after a while, you know, you start getting bored. I mean, how many magazines can you bring on a plane? And, you know, I know we have the internet now and everything, but when I read, I want a physical copy in my hand. You know, I don't like reading books on my iPhone. I wanna have you know, in my hand the physical copy and flipping pages. I come from a different time. There's a lot of onions in there, so the more the better. Also, I have corn on the cob inside. And I'm gonna make some French fries. That's a lot. Anyway, I'm gonna go inside and check on the corn, and I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Gonna cook this in the pan over there. We're going to talk a little bit about Lee Grant, the actress. A lot of people don't know who she is today, but if you're a Columbo fan, you know exactly who Lee Grant is, because she was on an episode called Ransom for a Dead Man, came out in 1971. Very attractive woman. Awesome acting. Just perfect, very realistic. Just everything about her, you know, plays that role like it was tailor-made for her, and it probably was. But I like the scene where she figures out Columbo and she tells him that he's not really that absent-minded guy that he's pretending to be. That is a great scene. But I wonder what happened to her. I believe that she's still alive. I think she's 95 years old. But Lee Grant, if you see this, I'm a big fan of yours. I love that episode of Columbo that you did. And you know, what else can I say? Very, very attractive. Very attractive. Anyway, I'm going to cook this stuff and get the meal going here. Otherwise, we're not going to eat tonight.